Welcome back to Formfully. In this video, we are diving into the world of Java OOPs through a series of MCQs. But that's just the beginning. We are excited to announce that we have created a dedicated playlist to help you conquer all aspects of Java OOPs with our comprehensive MCQ series. So, if you are ready to test your knowledge and embark on this learning journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because we have got a lot in store for you. Let's get started with the first MCQ. Which of the following is not a principle of OOPs? Inheritance, encapsulation, determinism, abstraction. And the correct option is determinism because the principle of OOPs are inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, classes, object. Next question. What is the main goal of object-oriented programming? Code reusability and organization, efficient memory management, high-speed execution of programs, simplicity in program structure. The primary goal of OOP is to achieve reusability and organization. OOPs promote the creation of reusable software components, that is objects that can be easily managed and maintained, leading to more organized and efficient code. While OOP can contribute to efficient memory management, it is not its primary goal. Speed is not the primary goal of OOPs. It's more about maintainability and reusability. While OOP can lead to more structured and organized code, simplicity is not its primary goal. It's beneficial consequences. So the correct option is code reusability and organization. Moving to the next question. In Java, which keyword is used to create an object of a class? New, this, class, object. In Java, new keyword is used to create an object of a class. It dynamically allocates memory for object and initialize it. This keyword is used to refer to the current instance of the class. It is not used to create a new object. Class keyword is used to define a class, not to create object. Object is a term often used to refer instance of classes. It is not keyword in Java for creating object. So the correct option is new. Next question. In Java, what is an object? A block of memory used for data storage, a variable used for storing numeric values, an instance of class with its own state and behavior, a reserved keyword for defining classes. An object in Java is an instance of class and it has its own state and behavior. So option 3 is correct. A block of memory used for data storage. This is partial definition of an object. Doesn't capture its complete essence. A variable used for storing numeric value. This is just a limited understanding of object. As object can store various types of data, not just numeric values. A reserved keyword for defining classes. This describes the class keyword, not an object. Next, which of the following represent the blueprint for creating objects in Java? Class, method, object, variable. In Java, a class serves as the blueprint or template for creating object. It defines the structure, state and behavior that object of the class will have. Method is a function that defines the behavior of an object but is not the blueprint for creating object. An object is an instance created based on a class. It is not the blueprint itself. Variable is a container for data, not the blueprint for creating object. Moving to the next question. What is the primary purpose of constructor in Java? To define the class hierarchy, to create multiple instances of a class, to initialize the state of an object, to declare instance variable. A constructor in Java is used to initialize the state or instance variables of an object when it is created. To define the class hierarchy, this is not the primary purpose of the constructor. To create multiple instances of a class, constructors are used to create instance but not their primary purpose. To declare instance variables, constructors are not used to declare variables. they initialize existing instance of the variable. So the correct option is to initialize the state of an object. Moving to the next question, what is the term for process of creating a new instance of a class in Java? Instantiation, inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction. Instantiation is the process of creating a new instance of a class in Java. Inheritance is about creating new class based on existing class. Encapsulation is about bundling data and method into a class. Abstraction is a concept that focuses on simplifying complex system. So the correct option is instantiation. Moving to the next question. Inheritance in Java allows a class to access private members of another class, create multiple instances of the same class, extend the functionality of another class, prevent the creation of object. Inheritance in Java allows a class, that is subclass or child class, to inherit or extend the functionality of another class, that is superclass or parent class. Access private members of another class. Inheritance does not allow access to private members of the superclass. Create multiple instances of the same class. This is unrelated to inheritance. You can create multiple instances of a class without inheritance. Inheritance does not prevent the creation of object. It is used to enhance the specialized classes. So the correct option is C, extend the functionality of the another class. Next question, what is the method? A reserved keyword for defining classes, a function that operates on object and can return values, a variable used for storing data, an instance of a class. A method in Java is a function defined within a class that operates on object, that is instance method, and can return a value. A reserved keyword for defining classes, this describes the class keyword. A variable used for storing data, this describes a variable, not a method. An instance of class, this describes an object, not a method. So the correct option is 2. Next question. Which access modifier is used to specify that a member, that is variable or method, can be accessed only within the same class? Public, protected, private, default. The private access modifier restricts access to members only within the same class. Public allow access from any class. Protected allow access within the same class and its subclass. Default allow access within the same package. So the correct option is private. Hi guys, welcome back to Form Fully. Previously we have covered basic hoops MCQs. In this video we are covering polymorphism MCQs, which have common MCQ pattern and also snippets. So let's get started with our first question. What is polymorphism in Java? The ability of a class to hide its internal details, the process of creating multiple objects from a single class, the ability of different classes to respond to the same method call in a way that it is specified to each class, the process of converting a primitive data type into an object, the ability of different classes to respond to the same method call in a way that is specific to each class is a correct option, because polymorphism enables you to write code that can work with the object of a different classes in a consistent way. It is achieved through method overloading and method overriding. The ability of class to hide its internal details, it is incorrect because it is encapsulation, not polymorphism. And option 2, the process of creating multiple objects from a single class, is also incorrect because the process of creating object restricts which is basic concept in OOPS but not the specific to polymorphism. Option 4, that is the process of converting a primitive data type into an object, is incorrect because it describes auto-boxing and unboxing, right, which is feature related to converting primitive data types into their corresponding object wrappers, but it is not the definition of polymorphism. So the correct option is 3. Moving to the next question. In Java, which annotation is used to implement method overriding in a subclass? Override, implements, extends, super. To indicate that the method in a subclass is intended to override method in a superclass, you use override annotation. This annotation is used to ensure that the method in a subclass is indeed intended to override a method in a superclass. If there is a mismatch in a method signature, the compiler will generate an error, helping to catch potential issues early. Option B, implement, is used to indicate that a class is implementing an interface, not for method overriding. Extend is used to create a subclass that inherits from a superclass, but it's not related to method overriding directly. Super is a keyword used to call a superclass, a constructor or method, but it is not used as annotation for method overriding. So the correct option is override. Which type of polymorphism is resolved during compile time in Java? Compile time polymorphism, runtime polymorphism, method polymorphism, dynamic polymorphism. The type of polymorphism that is resolved during compile time in Java is called as compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism. This is also known as method overloading. You know that method overloading is multiple methods in the same class have the same name but differ the number or types of parameters. The compiler determines which method to call based on the number and types of argument passed at the compile time. Runtime polymorphism, method polymorphism, dynamic polymorphism. These three are described as runtime polymorphism, also known as dynamic polymorphism, where method overriding is involved. Runtime polymorphism is resolved at the runtime based on the actual type of the object, not at compile time based on the method signature. So the correct option is 1. Next question. In Java, can you override static methods? Options: yes, static method can be overridden. No, static method cannot be overridden. Static method can only be overridden in the same package. Static methods can only be overridden if they are marked as final. In Java, static method cannot be overridden. They are hidden in the subclasses, not overridden. The method to call is determined at the compile time based on the reference type, not at the object's actual type. Option A is incorrect because, as I mentioned earlier, static method cannot be overridden. Option C is incorrect because whether a method is static or not doesn't depend on whether it can be overridden. It depends on the method definition. Option 4 is incorrect because final prevent it from being hidden in the subclasses, but it still does not result in actual method overriding. So option 2 is correct. Next question. What is the main advantage of method overriding in Java? Options: it allows you to create new methods with the same name in a subclass. It allows you to hide methods from the superclass. It allows you to provide a specific implementation of a method in a subclass. It allows you to define methods with the different access modifier. And the correct option is it allows you to provide a specific implementation of a method in a subclass, because method overriding allows a subclass to provide its own implementation for a method that is already defined in its superclass. Option A is incorrect because this describes method overloading, not method overriding. Option 2 is incorrect because method overriding doesn't hide methods. It provides a new implementation for a methods already defined in its superclass. Option 4 is incorrect because method overriding should maintain the same method signature, including the access modifier. So option 3 is correct. Moving to the next snippet question. What will be the output of this code? Some sound, bark, compilation error, runtime error. I will suggest first pause the video and think about the answer. I hope you found the correct answer. And the correct option is bark. Because in this code, you have class hierarchy with superclass as animal and subclass as dog. Both classes have a method make sound, right? And dog class override this method. In the main method, you create an object, myPet, of type animal, but initialize it with dog object. This is an example of polymorphism in Java, where you can have a reference to a superclass type, in this case animal, that points to an object of subclass, in this case that is dog. When you call myPet.makeSound,
it calls make sound method of actual object type, which is dog, right? This make sound. Okay. So it will print bark. Option A is incorrect because the method is overridden in the dog class, and the subclass version of the method is called when you have an object of subclass. Option 3 is incorrect because there are no compilation error in the code. And option 4 is incorrect because there won't be a runtime error, because method overriding in Java is a standard practice and does not result in runtime when done correctly. Okay, so option 2 is correct.
Moving to the next question. What is the difference between method overloading and method overriding in Java? Options: method overloading is resolved at runtime, while method overriding is resolved at compile time. Method overloading involves creating multiple methods with the same name but different parameters, while method overriding involves providing a new implementation for a method in a subclass. Method overloading is only applicable to static methods, while method overriding is only applicable to instance method. Method overloading is a technique where method is in the same class have the same name but different parameter, and method overriding occurs when subclass provides its own implementation for method that is already defined in its subclass. So option 2 is correct. Option 1 is incorrect because the statement is incorrect. Method overloading is resolved at compile time, while method overriding is resolved at runtime. Option 3 is incorrect because the statement is incorrect. Both method overloading and method overriding can apply to both static and instance method. Moving to the next question. In Java, can you override constructor from a superclass? Options: yes, constructor can be overridden. No, constructor cannot be overridden. Constructor can only be overridden if they are marked as final. Constructor can only be overridden if they are declared as public. In Java, constructor cannot be overridden because constructors are not inherited like regular method. When a subclass is created, it implicitly calls the constructor of a superclass using the super keyword. Subclass can add their own constructor, but they cannot override or change the behavior of super constructor. This is because constructors are a part of object initialization process and their behavior is not determined by the polymorphism. Option 1 is incorrect because, as I mentioned earlier, constructor cannot be overridden. Option 3 is incorrect because constructor cannot be marked as final. Even if they could, it wouldn't change the fact that constructor cannot be overridden. Option 4 is incorrect because accessibility modifier like public are used to control the visibility of constructor, but they do not relate to the concept of overriding. Constructors are automatically called by the subclass and they don't need to declare as public to be used by the subclass. So option 2 is correct. Next question. What is the purpose of super keyword in method overriding? To call a method from the superclass, to invoke the constructor from the superclass, to access static method from the superclass, to prevent method overriding. And the correct option is to call a method from superclass, because the super keyword in method overriding is used to explicitly call a method from the superclass. When a method in the subclass has the same name as a method in the superclass, you can use super.that method name to invoke the superclass method. Option 2 is incorrect because while the super keyword can be used to call a constructor of the superclass, it is not its primary purpose in the method overriding. Option 3 is incorrect because the super keyword is typically used for accessing instances methods and is not required to access the static methods in the superclass. Option 4 is incorrect because the super keyword does not prevent method overriding. It is used to facilitate and control the invocation of method in the superclass. So option 1 is correct. Moving to the next question. Which keyword in Java is used to prevent a method from being overridden in a subclass? Final, abstract, static, this. When you declare a method as a final, it means that method's implementation in the current class is definitive and final version of the method. Subclass cannot be override a final method. Option 2, abstract, is incorrect because abstract keyword is used to declare method that must be overridden by subclass, making it the opposite of preventing method overriding. Static, as you know, static method are associated with the class, not with instances, and they are not overridden in the traditional sense. This keyword, you also know, this keyword is used to refer to the current instance of a class and is unrelated to the preventing method overriding. So final keyword in Java is used to prevent a method from being overridden in a subclass. Moving to the next question, what is the purpose of instance of operator in Java? To check if an object is an instance of a particular class or interface, to convert an object to another data type, to compare two objects for equality, to check if an object is null. The instance of operator in Java is used to determine whether an object is an instance of a particular class, subclass, or interface. It is used for type checking and help ensure that you are working with the correct type of object before performing certain operations. Option 2 is incorrect because the instance of operator is not used for converting an object to another data type. Conversion typically involves typecasting. Option 3 is incorrect because comparing two objects for equality is typically done using the equals method or the equals to operator. Option 4 is incorrect because to check if an object is null, you would use equals to or not equals to compare the object to null. So option 1 is correct. Next question. What is the concept of method signature in Java method overloading? The method's name and return type, the method name, return type and the number of parameters, the method name and access modifier, the method name and the order of parameter type. The method signature in Java includes the method name, its return type and the number of and types of its parameter. Method overloading is based on differences in the method signature. To overload a method, you can use the same method name but must change the number of types of parameter or both. Option A is incorrect because this is partial definition. It's not sufficient for distinguish overloaded method because two methods with the same name and return type but different parameters are considered overloaded. Option 3 is incorrect because access modifier is not considered part of method signature. Option 4 is incorrect because the order of parameter type is important but it is just one aspect of number and types of parameters. So option 2 is correct.
Moving to the next snippet question, what is the result of the following code? There is no error, the code will execute successfully. Error, the bark method is not defined in the animal class. Error, the myPet object cannot access the bark method. Error, the dog class should be declared as abstract. First think about the code and ready with your correct answer. I hope you find the correct answer and the correct option is error, the bark method is not defined in the animal class. Because in this code we have class hierarchy as superclass with animal and subclass with dog. Both classes have method make sound. The dog class override this method. Okay. Then in the main method you create object myPet of type animal but initialize it with dog object. However, when you try to call bark method on myPet, it result compilation error. The reason is that the bark method is not defined in the animal class and the reference type, that is animal, determine which method are accessible. Even though the actual object is dog, the reference type restrict the accessible method to those defined in the animal class. Option 1 is incorrect because the code will not execute successfully because it contains a compilation error due to attempt to call an undefined method on the myPet object. Option 3 is incorrect because the error is not about the accessibility of the bark method but rather than the fact that it is not defined in the animal class. Error 4 is incorrect because there is no need to declare the dog class as abstract in this context and it is not related to the compilation error. So option 2 is correct.
Hello guys, welcome back to Formfully. Previously we have covered basic OOPS MCQs and Polymorphism MCQs. In this video we are covering Encapsulation MCQs. So let's get started with the first question. What is encapsulation in Java? A process of making a class abstract, a process of wrapping data, that is variables and code methods, into a single unit, a process of creating multiple instances of a class, a process of defining constructors for a class. Encapsulation is the process of wrapping data and code into a single unit known as class. This hides the internal implementation details of a class from the outside, providing data protection and control access to a class attributes and method. Option 1 is incorrect, as encapsulation is not about making a class abstract. Option 3 is incorrect because encapsulation does not relate to creating instance of a class. Option 4 is incorrect, as encapsulation is not about defining constructor. So option 2 is correct. Moving to the next question. Which access modifier can be used to implement encapsulation in Java? Options are public and protected, private and default, static and final, abstract and synchronize. Encapsulation is typically achieved in Java by using private access modifier for data member and providing public methods, that is getter and setter, to access and modify these data members. This ensures that data is encapsulated within the class and only controlled access is allowed. Option 1, that is public and protected, is incorrect, as public and protected would expose data directly. Static and final are not primarily related to encapsulation. Abstract and synchronize are unrelated to encapsulation. So option 2 is correct. Moving to the next question. Which keyword is used to create a getter method in Java? Options: get, set, this, private. The get keyword is commonly used to create getter method in Java. As you know, getter method are used to retrieve the values of private data members. Option 2, that is set, is incorrect. As you know, set is used to create setter method. Option 3, this, is used to refer to the current instance of an object. So option 3 is incorrect. Option 4, that is private, is access modifier not used to create getter method. Moving to the snippet question. Here, what will be the output of this code? Options are name alias, name, compilation error, runtime error. I will suggest first stop the video or pause the video for first thing what will be the output of this code. I hope you are ready with your answer. The correct option is name alias, because let's see the code first. Here we have student class and class with private name instance variable, correct, and they have two methods for setting and getting name, right, this and this. Okay. In the main class we have main method. We create a student object named student. First we set the name of the student object to alias using set name method, correct, and then we print the name using get name method which return alias. So here name alias correct option, because we are setting the name to alias and then retrieving it. Moving to the next question. Which of the following is not a benefit of encapsulation in Java? Options are improve code organization and readability, enhance security by preventing unauthorized access to data, greater flexibility in method overriding, controlled access to data and method. While encapsulation provides many benefits, it does not directly impact overriding and flexibility in method overriding. Encapsulation is primarily focused on protection and control access. Option A, B and D is benefit of encapsulation. So option 3 is correct here. Moving to the next question. What is the purpose of setter method in encapsulation? Options are to initialize the object of a class, to provide control access to class fields, that is variable for reading, to provide control access to class field for modification, to define the class constructor. A setter method in encapsulation is used to provide control access to class fields for modification. It allows you to set or change the values of private fields. Option A is incorrect because initializing the object is not the primary purpose of setter. Option B is incorrect as that's the purpose of getter, not a setter. Option 4 is incorrect as defining the class constructor is different concept. So option 3 is correct. Next question. Which keyword is used to declare a variable as constant in Java? Options are static, final, const, private. The final keyword is used to declare a variable as a constant in Java. Constants, once assigned a value, cannot be modified. Static is incorrect because doesn't make a variable constant. Const is not a keyword in Java for declaring constant. Private is access modifier, not used for declaring constant. So option 2 is correct. Next snippet question. What will be the output of this code? So here are the options for this code. I will suggest first pause the video and think about the option. I hope you have found the correct option. The correct option is balance 500 because let's see the code. Here we have bank account class with private balance instance variable, right? And we have 3 methods for depositing, for withdrawing, and for getting balance. Okay. In main class, main method, we create a bank account object, name account. We deposit 1000 into account using deposit method, which increases balance to 1000, right? And then we withdraw 500 from the account using withdraw method, which checks if amount is less than or equal to balance. In this case, it is so 500 is deducted from the balance. Finally, we print the output balance using getBalance method, which returns 500. So the correct option is 500. Next question. Which of the following statement is true regarding encapsulation and inheritance in Java? Encapsulation and inheritance are mutually exclusive concepts. Inheritance allows for control access to class fields and methods. Encapsulation is only useful when inheritance is not employed. Encapsulation can be used to hide the implementation details of a class, while inheritance is used to create a new class based on an existing class. Here option 4 is correct because it shows the definition of encapsulation and inheritance, as encapsulation used to hide implementation details of a class. Inheritance is used to create new class based on an existing class. Option 1 is incorrect because encapsulation and inheritance can coexist. Option 2 is incorrect as inheritance does not inherently provide control access to class fields and methods. Option 3 is incorrect because encapsulation is useful in both cases, with or without inheritance. So option 4 is correct. Moving to the next snippet question. What will be the output of this code? Options are as follows. I will suggest first pause the video and think about the answer. I hope you are ready with your answer. Here the correct option is compilation error, cannot access private member directly. So let's see the code. In the main class, main method, we are trying to access and assign values to name and salary, right? Here name and salary, fields of employee class directly, right? We are directly fetching name and salary which are in the employee class, and in the employee class name and salary is in private. So if instance is in private, so we cannot access that instance in the other class. So that's why it will show compilation error. Hello guys, welcome back to Form Fully. Previously we have covered OOPS basic concept MCQs, polymorphism and Encapsulation MCQs. In this video, we are covering abstractions MCQ. So let's get started with our first MCQ. What is the primary purpose of abstraction in Java? Options: to make code execution faster, to hide the implementation details and show only the necessary features, to enforce security in the code, to create complex data structures. Abstraction in Java and in programming in general primarily serves the purpose of hiding the implementation details of a class and showing only the necessary features of the outside world. This is achieved through the use of abstract class and interface. Okay. Option 1 is incorrect because abstraction is not primarily intended to make code execution faster. While it can lead to more efficient code design and organization, its primary purpose is not related to code performance. Option 3 is incorrect because abstraction is not designed to enforce security in the code. Security measures typically involve access control, authentication, and authorization mechanism. So, option 4 is incorrect because abstraction is not about creating complex data structure. It's about simplifying the representation of complex systems or objects. So, option 2 is correct. Moving to the next question. Which keyword is used to define an abstract class in Java? Options are abstract, class, interface, final. In Java, abstract keyword is used to define an abstract class. Option B, C and D, that is class, interface and final, is incorrect because class is used to define regular classes, interface is used for interfaces, and final is used to indicate a class cannot be extended. So option 1 is correct. Next question. Which of the following statement is correct about abstraction methods in Java? Options are: abstract method can have a body, abstract method must be declared as static, abstract methods are defined in concrete classes, abstract methods do not have a body and must be implemented by concrete subclasses. Here, abstract methods in Java are declared in abstract classes or interface and do not have method body. They must be implemented by concrete subclasses. Okay, option 1, 2 and 3 are incorrect because abstract method cannot have a method body and do not have to be declared as static, and they are not defined in concrete classes. So option 4 is correct. Moving to the next question. In Java, can abstract class have non-abstract, that is concrete methods? Options are: yes, but all method in abstract class must be abstract. No, all method in an abstract class must be abstract. Yes, an abstract class have a mix of abstract and concrete methods only if abstract class implements an interface. Here option C is correct because an abstract class in Java can contain both abstract, that is unimplemented methods, and concrete methods, that is implemented methods. This allows abstract classes to provide some default behavior while requiring subclasses to implement specific method. Option 1 is incorrect because not all method in an abstract class need to be abstract, same as option 2. Option D is incorrect as implementing an interface does not determine whether concrete methods can be in an abstract class. So option 3 is correct. Moving to the next question. Which of the following is an example of abstract data type ADT in Java? Options are array list, int, string, linked list. In Java, array list is an example of abstract data type. It provides a high-level interface to a dynamic array, hiding the underlying implementation details. Option B, C and D, that is int, string and linked list, are not ADTs because they represent primitive data types or specific concrete data structure. So option 1 is correct. Moving to the next snippet question. What will be the output of this code? So here are options: woof, compilation error in the main method, compilation error in the doc class, no output, it will throw an exception. I will suggest first pause the video and think about the correct option. I hope you are ready with your answer. So first let's discuss the code. Here we have an abstract class animal. We know that abstract class in Java are used as blueprint for other classes, right? Inside the animal class, there is an abstract method that is make sound, which represent a method for making a sound, but it doesn't have an implementation here. Subclass of animal will be required to provide an implementation for this method. So here we have dog class that extend the animal class. This means that dog is a subclass of animal. Since dog is not an abstract class, it is required to provide an implementation for the abstract make sound method from the animal class, right? Then inside the dog class, there is an implementation of the make sound method. In this case, make sound method of the dog class simplify prints woof to the console, right? Coming to the main class, we have main method. This is the entry point of our Java program, right? Inside the main method, we create an instance of the dog class, right? And store it in a variable my dog. I hope you remember that this is the example of polymorphism we covered in previous video, where we can reference a subclass dog object using a reference variable of its superclass, that is animal class. And finally, we call make sound method on the my dog object, right, which will invoke the make sound method from the dog class. This is because when we call my dog.make sound, it invokes make sound method of the dog class, which will print woof. So the correct option is woof. Next question. Which access modifier is used to restrict access to an abstract method within the same package? Options are private, protected, default, public. Here option 2, that is protected is correct, as protected access modifier allows access to members including abstract methods within the same package and in subclasses, whether they are in the same package or different package. Option A, that is private, is incorrect as it restricts access within the same class. Option C, default, is incorrect because it allows package level access. Option 4, that is public, is incorrect as it provided unrestricted access. So option 2 is correct. Moving to the next question. Can an abstract class be instantiated? That is, an object of an abstract class created? Options are yes, as long as it has at least one concrete method. No, abstract classes cannot be instantiated. Yes, as long as it implements an interface. Yes, always. Here option 2 is correct, as abstract class cannot be instantiated because they are meant to be subclassed and objects are created from concrete subclasses. Option A is incorrect, as having a concrete method does not allow instantiation. Option C is incorrect because implementing an interface does not change the fact that abstract classes cannot be instantiated. Option 4 is absolutely incorrect because abstract class cannot be instantiated. So option 2 is correct. Next question. In Java, can abstract class implement multiple interfaces? Options: yes, an abstract class can implement multiple interfaces. No, an abstract class can implement only one interface. Yes, but only if all interfaces have default implementation. No, interfaces can only be implemented by concrete classes. Here option A is correct, as an abstract class in Java can implement multiple interfaces. This allows the abstract class to provide concrete implementations for methods defined in the interfaces. Option 2 is incorrect, as an abstract class can implement multiple interfaces. Option 3 is incorrect because it's not dependent on whether the interface have default implementation or not. Option 4 is incorrect because interfaces can be implemented by both concrete and abstract classes. So option 1 is correct. Moving to the next question. Which keyword is used to prevent a class from being subclassed in Java? Sealed, final, static, private. Here option 2 is correct, as final keyword is used to prevent a class from being subclassed in Java. A final class cannot be extended by other class. Option A, that is sealed, is a new feature in Java 17, but it is used to control which classes can extend it, not to prevent subclassing entirely. Option C, that is static, is used for method and fields, not for classes. Private is used to restrict access within a class but not to prevent subclassing. So option 2 is correct. Moving to the next snippet question, what will be the output of this code? Options are as follows. First, think about the answer. I hope you have found the correct option. First, let's discuss the code. We have interface shape. In Java, an interface defines a contract for the classes that implements it, right? The shape interface defines a single method area, which should return the area of the shape. Any class that implements this interface must provide an implementation for the area method. So we have class circle that implements the shape interface. Since circle implements shape, it is required to provide an implementation for the area method. Inside the circle, we provide fields. There is private fields radius, which represent the radius of the circle. Okay. Then the constructor of the circle class taken a radius as parameter and initialize the radius field with the provided value. Okay. The area method in the circle class calculates the area of circle using formula pi r square. Right. In the main class, we have main method. Inside the main method, we create an instance of the circle. Since circle implements the shape interface, we can reference the circle object using a reference variable of the shape. Finally, we call the area method on the circle object and prints the value to the console using system.println. That's why circle.area method, it invokes the area method of the circle class, which calculates and returns the area of circle with the radius 5.0. That's why correct option is 78.5. Moving to the next question. In Java, which of the following statement about abstract classes and interfaces is true? Options are: all methods in an interface are implicitly public and abstract. Abstract classes can provide multiple inheritance while interface support single inheritance. All methods in abstract class are implicitly public and abstract. Interfaces can have constructor, but abstract classes cannot. Here, in Java, all methods in an interface are implicitly public and abstract. Option B is incorrect because it states that abstract classes provide multiple inheritance while they provide single inheritance just like interfaces. Option C is incorrect because abstract classes can have non-abstract methods and these methods are not necessarily public. Option D is incorrect as both interfaces and abstract classes cannot have constructor. So option 1 is correct. Moving to the next question. What is a marker interface in Java? Options are: an interface with no methods and no fields, an interface used for making classes for spatial processing, an interface that contains only static methods, an interface that is used as blueprint for other interfaces. A marker interface, also known as tagging interface, is an interface with no methods but is used to mark classes for spatial processing or categorizing. Okay. It is a way to indicate that a class implements certain behavior without adding methods to a class. Option A is incorrect as marker interface can have fields. Option C is incorrect because a marker interface don't necessarily contain static methods. Option D is incorrect because marker interface are not used as blueprint for other interfaces. So option 2 is correct. Moving to the next question. In Java, if a class implements multiple interfaces and two of these interfaces have conflicting defaults methods with the same name and parameters, what should the implementing class do? Options are: the class can implement one of the conflicting methods and leave the other unimplemented. Option 2, the class must explicitly choose one of the conflicting methods to implement. The class can implement both conflicting methods and the compiler will choose one based on a predefined rule. A class cannot implement multiple interfaces with the conflicting defaults method. Here, option 2 is correct. When a class implements multiple interfaces, with conflicting default method, it must explicitly choose which method to implement. This prevents ambiguity, and the compiler requires the implementing class to provide a specific implementation for conflicting methods. Option A and option C are incorrect, as class cannot leave one unimplemented or rely on the compiler to choose one. Option D is incorrect because it is possible to implement multiple inheritance with conflicting default methods, but the class must resolve the conflict by explicitly choosing an implementation. So option 2 is correct. Next snippet question: what will be the output of this code? Options are as follows. Pause the video and think about the options. So let's move to the code. Here we have printable interface, right? The printable interface defines a single method print, which should be implemented by any class, but that implements the interface, right? Then we have class document, which does not implement the printable interface. It has print, which prints printing a document. Okay, this method is not related to the printable interface. Then we have class report, which extend document class and implements the printable interface. This means that report is a subclass of document and also provide an implementation for the print method from the printable interface. Okay, the print method in the report class overrides the print method from the document class and printing a report, right? Then in main class we have main method. Inside the main method, we create an instance of the report class and store it in a variable named printable. Okay. Finally, we call the print method on the printable object, which will invoke the print method from the report class. So that's why it will printing a report. Welcome back to Formfully. Previously, we have covered OOPS basics MCQs and also polymorphism, encapsulation and abstraction MCQs. In this video, we are covering inheritance. So let's get started with our first MCQ. What is inheritance in Java? Options are: a mechanism to create objects from classes, to inherit the properties and behaviors of another class, a method to create new classes from existing classes, a way to hide the implementation details of a class. In Java, inheritance is a way to achieve code reusability and method overriding by allowing one class to inherit the properties and behavior of another class. So option B is correct. Option A is incorrect because it refers to object creation, not inheritance. C is partially correct but doesn't mention the key benefit of inheritance. Option D is incorrect as it describes abstraction, not inheritance. Next question: which keyword is used to indicate inheritance in Java? Options are: extends, inherits, implements, derives. The correct option is extends. The extend keyword is used in Java to indicate inheritance. Option B, C and D are not used for inheritance in Java. We can say option C is used for implementing interface, not for inheritance. So option 1 is correct. Moving to the next question. In Java, can a subclass inherit the constructor of its superclass? Options are: yes, always; no, never; yes, if the subclass does not define any constructors; yes, if the superclass is abstract. Here the correct option is C, as in Java a subclass can inherit the constructors of its superclass only if the subclass does not define any constructor. If the subclass defines constructor, it won't inherit the default constructor from the superclass. Option 1 is incorrect because it's not always the case. Option B is incorrect as subclasses can inherit constructor under certain conditions. Option D is not requirement for inheriting constructors. So option C is correct. Moving to the next question. Which of the following is true about super keyword in Java? Options are: it is used to access the superclass's methods and fields. It can be used to create an instance of a superclass. It is only used in constructors. It is used to indicate the derived class. Here, option A is correct because the super keyword is used to access the superclass's method and fields. Option B is incorrect as it doesn't create an instance of superclass. Option C is partially correct, but super can also be used in other places such as methods. Option D is incorrect as super is used to refer the superclass, not the derived class. So option 1 is correct. Next, in Java, which of the following describes method overriding? Options are: it allows a subclass to provide a specific implementation of a method defined in its superclass. It allows a subclass to hide the implementation of a method defined in its superclass. It allows a subclass to create new method within the same name as method in its superclass. It allows a subclass to access private methods of its superclass. Here, the correct option is A, as method overriding in Java allows a subclass to provide a specific implementation of a method defined in its superclass. Option B is incorrect as it describes method hiding, not overriding. Option C is incorrect as it's about method overloading, not overriding. Option D is incorrect because private methods of superclass are not accessible in a subclass. So option 1 is correct. Next question, which of the following is true regarding multiple inheritance in Java? Java support multiple inheritance for classes. Java support multiple inheritance for interfaces only. Java support multiple inheritance for both classes and interfaces. Java does not support multiple inheritance. Here option D is correct as Java does not support multiple inheritance for classes. It can achieve a form of multiple inheritance through interfaces. Option A is incorrect as it is opposite to option D. Java does not support multiple inheritance. Option B is partially correct, but it's essential to clarify that Java achieves multiple inheritance through interface. Option C is incorrect as it suggests multiple inheritance is supported for both classes and interface, which is not the case. So option D is correct. Next question. What is the purpose of super constructor call in subclass constructor? Options are: it creates a new instance of a superclass. It calls a class no argument constructor. It calls method in superclass. It initializes the subclass instance variable. Here, option B is correct as the super constructor call in the subclass constructor is used to call the superclass no argument constructor. Option A is incorrect because it doesn't create a new instance of the superclass. Option C is incorrect as it's not the primary purpose of super method, super constructor we can say. Option D is incorrect because it's not the primary purpose of the super constructor call. Moving to the next question. In Java, when a subclass inherits from a superclass, can it access the private members, that is field and methods of the superclass? Options are: yes, always; yes, if the subclass is in the same package as the superclass; no, never; yes, if the subclass is in different package from the superclass. In Java, a subclass cannot access the private member, that is fields and method of the superclass, regardless the package they are in. So option C is correct. Option A and B are incorrect because private members are not accessible to subclasses. Option D is also incorrect as package access doesn't affect the accessibility of the private members. So option C is correct. Next question. When a class extends another class in Java, what happens to the members of the superclass? Options are: they become private in the subclass, they become protected in the subclass, they become public in the subclass, they remain accessible based on their access modifier in the subclass. Here, option D is correct. When a class extends another class in Java, the members of the superclass remain accessible based on their access modifier in the subclass. Option A, B and C are incorrect because they do not accurately describe what happens to superclass members in the subclass. So option D is correct. Moving to the next question. Which of the following is an example of hierarchical inheritance in Java? Options are: class A extends class B and class C extends class D. Class A implements interface X and class B implements interface Y. Class A extends class B and class C extends class A. class A has a static method and class B has a non-static method. Here the correct option is C. Hierarchical inheritance in Java is when multiple subclass extend a common superclass. Option A is incorrect because it describes multiple unrelated inheritance relationship. Option B is incorrect because it involves interface implementation, not hierarchical inheritance. Option D is incorrect, that is unrelated to inheritance and deals with static and non-static methods. So option 3 is correct. Next question. In Java, what is the difference between is a and has a relationship in context of inheritance? Options are: is a represent composition while has a represent inheritance. Is a represent inheritance while has a represent composition. Both is a and has a relationships represent the same concepts. Is a and has a are not related to inheritance in Java. Here the correct option is B. In Java, is a represent inheritance where a subclass is specialized version of its superclass. Has a represent composition where a class contains an instance of another class. Option A is incorrect as it misrepresents the concepts. Option C is incorrect because they represent different relationships. Option D is incorrect as is a and has a are related to inheritance and composition. So option 2 is correct. Moving to the next snippet question. What will be the output of this code? Options are as follows. I'll suggest first pause the video and think about the correct option. Here, the correct option is car started. Let's see the code. Here, class vehicle defines a base class called vehicle with a name, with a method start, right? That prints vehicle started. Okay. Then we have class car that extend vehicle and overrides the start method, right? Start method with its own implementation which prints car started. And then in the main method of the main class, we create an object V of type vehicle, but we initialize it with car object, right? This is an example of polymorphism and dynamic method dispatch. When you call the start method on the V object, Java determines which version of the start method to execute based on the actual type of object at runtime. In this case, V is referencing a car object. So the overridden start method is the car class will be called. Therefore, the output of the code will be car started. Next snippet question. What will be the output of this code? Options are as follows. First, think about the correct option. I hope you found the correct answer. First, let's discuss the code. Here in the code, we have class hierarchy with animal class as the superclass and two subclasses, cat and dog. Each of these subclasses has their own implementation of the make sound method, right? The main method demonstrates polymorphism by creating an animal reference that is initially assigned a dog object and then cat object. Okay. The animal class defines a method called make sound, right here, which prints animal sound when called. The cat class extends animal class and overrides the make sound method to print meow, right? And then dog class extend animal and overrides the make sound method to print bark. Okay. In the main method, animal myPet equals to new dog method, create an animal reference called myPet and assign it to a dog object. Okay, and then when we call myPet.makeSound method, Java determines which version of makeSound method to execute based on the actual type of object at runtime. In this case, myPet reference a dog object, so the makeSound method of the dog class is called, therefore it prints bark. And then when we reassign myPet to a cat object with myPet equals to new cat method, so myPet.makeSound, again myPet now reference a cat object, So the make sound method of the cat class called. This time it prints meow. So the correct option is bark meow. Next snippet question. What will be the output of the code? Options are as follows. First, think about the correct option. I hope you are ready with your answer. Let's discuss the code first. In this code, we have class hierarchy that includes shape class as the base class and two subclasses, circle and square. Each of the subclasses overrides the draw method with its own implementation, right? The main method demonstrates polymorphism by creating array of shape objects and assigning instance of circle, square, and the base shape class to it. Right. Let's break down the code and explain it in detail. A shape class defines a method called draw, which prints drawing a shape. Right. And then the circle class extends shape and overrides the draw method to print drawing a circle. The square class extends shape and overrides the draw method to print drawing a square. In the main method, shape array shapes equals to new shape 3 creates an array of shape reference that can store objects of the shape class and its subclasses. Shape 0, shape 1, shape 2 assigns a circle, square and shape respectively to the right, and then in the for loop iterates through the array of shape reference and calls the draw method on each object. In the first iteration, shape reference a circle object, so it's called draw method of the circle class, which prints draw a circle. Then in the second iteration, shape reference a square object, so it's called the draw method of the square class, which prints drawing a square. In third iteration, shape reference a shape object, so it's called draw method of the shape class, which prints drawing a shape. So here option 1 is correct. Moving to the next snippet question, what will be the output of this code? Here are the options. I'll suggest first pause the video and think about the correct answer. Let's discuss the code first. Here we have class hierarchy involving an animal class and two subclasses, cat and dog. Additionally, there is a zoo class with method to make animals speak. In the main method, we create an array of animal objects, some of which are instance of dog and some are instance of cat. Let's break down the code and I'll explain it in detail. The animal class defines a method called make sound, which prints animal sound. The cat class extends animal and overrides the make sound method to print meow. The dog class extends animal and overrides the make sound method to print bark. Right. Then in the zoo class has method called make animal speak that takes an array of animal objects and make each animal speak by calling its make sound method. Coming to main method, this line animal array zoo animal is an array that can store objects of the animal class and its subclasses. We can see this line as here zoo animal index of 0 will take value of dog method, right? Dog class method, and then zoo animal 1 and 2 will take cat and dog respectively. An instance of the zoo class is created with zoo myzoo equals to new zoo method. The myzoo dot make animal speak zoo animal line calls the make animal speak method in the zoo class and pass the zoo animal array as an argument. Inside the make animal speak method, a for loop iterates through the animal array which contains zoo animal array and calls the make sound method on each animal object. Now let's analyze the expected output. The first element of the zoo animal array is a dog, so the make sound method of the dog class is called resulting a bark. The second element is a cat. So the make sound method of the cat calls cat class is called resulting in the meow. The third element is the another dog. So the make sound method of the dog class is called again resulting bark. So the correct option is bark, meow, bark.